photograph, it's almost useless. But then you have cases like this is one you mentioned, which I love, which is the Rex Heflin photographs.
Yeah. Let's jump into that. Let's jump into because
Right?
I'm gonna tell you why I'm laughing, Preston, is because you said something that I feel like we're kind of one and the same with, like, the path that we're walking on, because I said the same thing. I think there should be, in my personal opinion, a concentration on the earlier photographs, because typically when you, as of today with digital photography, of course, it can be really hard to determine and break down what's real and what's not. But the earlier cases are fascinating to me, especially like there was a big flap in the 50s, of course, and these things were just like all over the place. There's a lot of video evidence, but in my opinion, too, there's a lot of the photographic evidence of some bona fide UFO cases. And you mentioned someone one of your earlier interviews I heard you on. You brought up Rex Heflin, and you brought up the Trent photographs in McMillville, Oregon. And I was like, wow. I mean, the two that are like I have like on my desktop on my computer, those are two of my
Right?
favorite. I mean, there are many others, but I have those right on my on my desktop there. And can you elaborate on those, and then I can just share my screen and just pull up, like, just for those who are like listening in, I can we can relate what you're saying verbally to some actual visuals, if that's okay with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Let's start with the Rex Heflin. I
sure.
love those photos because
Okay.
you look at those photos and you get a vibe. I mean, it's so close. What's inside that thing? Because this
Hmm.
is a genuine case. The guy's a great witness. He sought no publicity. Actually shied away from it. He's a highway inspector. It's his
Uh-huh.
job to inspect the highways, and he's driving along, and he's got a Polaroid camera, and he sees this object, and he's like,
Hmm.
wow, what is this thing? And it's metallic, it's sending down a beam of light, and it's pacing his truck. This is at daylight,
Right.
very close, a couple of 100 feet away at most. And he grabs his Polaroid and he snaps a series of about 4 photographs. Uh, and it's circling around his truck. It gets low to the ground. It's affecting the ground at one point. You can see the dirt being kicked up. He
Right.
he radios his superior, and his radio doesn't work. It's all static, which is something his superior confirmed later.
Hmm.
And so he takes these 4 amazing photographs, and one like shows this weird kind of amorphous black mass, as if the UFO is like disappearing or going into another dimension. But 4 show this metallic craft, and it's very close, and it looks like it's about the size of a vehicle, maybe
Hmm.
smaller than his truck, but not much. And dark metal gray. He takes the photographs and he shows them to his superior. His superior is very impressed, but he doesn't want to pass them around. He's got no interest in convincing anybody of anything. But the photographs are so good that they start, getting some attention. And eventually some reporters find out about him. They interview him. The case gets out. The photographs are published. Some analysts are very interested in this case, and they analyze the photographs and declare them genuine. And eventually he does get a visit from men who said that they were from the Pentagon.
Hmm.
They wanted the photographs.
Hmm.
And he did. He did his good duty and gave them. So they are great photographs and a great case that's never been debunked.
Indeed.
There's no evidence of fakery at all. He's never actually even been accused of it because there's no in there. I mean, there's no there, so to speak. It's a great case, and I look at those photographs and I get that, chill. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
what is that?
That's right.
There's
And to
this
his dying day, he never deviated at all. He told that same story.
at
And
all.
can you
Right?
see my screen now, Preston?
I can, yeah.
You said something that I've never heard before until like earlier in the day, before YouTube and all became what it was. There was a guy in Midwest who used to run his own DVD store. And I always call him like, hey, this is Derek from like DC. Can you share with me what you have in your inventory that I could, I was always get DVDs from him. And some were good and some were bad. But the first time I've ever heard that I've never heard anybody mention other than you just now was that, and this is probably not the best photograph. I was hoping it would have been a little larger, but you see the craft right here over the ground. And you mentioned like in one of the DVDs I saw this, it was an older gentleman who described like the disturbance of the ground. If you look at the field, you see the street where he's parking. I think he had a truck or a pickup truck. And if anybody could look into this particular photograph, I never noticed until the gentleman in the DVD I saw years ago mentioned the disturbance in the ground, because this field is like a vegetation or whatever it is. And I think when he described seeing the craft, did he not say it looked to be in some like form of distress, maybe? Like it looked a little wobbly or shaky or something. That's what I thought was something that he said. But in any event, like if you look right below that craft, you see the ground. Like if you look at the closer up pictures, you see that there is some type of propulsion, or if you want to call it the electrogravitic, however this thing is using, whatever energy source it's using, it's a disturbance in the ground right beneath it. I mean, in my opinion, that solidifies this photograph. It's like, that's a bona fide vehicle, because what else could that be? I think there was some other debunkers tried to say, oh, it's like a cap from his camera that he was hanging over on a string or something like that. but this photograph clearly shows that there's a physical disturbance under that craft right there. And to me, I'm like, you can't get it any better than that, in my opinion.
Right, and it proves that this is not a tiny little thing right in front of the camera.
Indeed.
Because you can see that it's disturbing the field there, which gives you a great estimation of its size and its distance.
Exactly.
And yeah, the dirt is being kicked up, no doubt. How
That's
it's
right.
doing that or why, I think it's doing it on purpose, honestly, because
Okay.
There's a lot of cases where objects are hovering over the ground and nothing's happening.
Okay.
And this object is showing itself off. It's got to know that Rex can see it.
Gotcha.
It's got to know that Rex has a camera. And I have to tell you, I've got a bunch of cases in my own files, and I know that there are a lot of cases out there where people have tried to photograph these things, and the camera malfunctions. It doesn't work.
Right.
To this day, cell phone cameras even the battery drains. I've got a bunch of cases like that.
Yeah.
There was a wave of sightings in upstate New York, the Hudson Valley wave. A bunch of people tried to photograph this stuff and were not successful. Some amazing photographs did come out. But yeah, oftentimes people see a UFO and they whip out their camera, and the camera just like, hey, it's not working. So I'm thinking, and I'm speculating here, but with the Rex Heflin case, that this UFO showed itself on purpose and provided those photographs, posed those photographs, knowing full well that he was being seen.
Indeed. Okay. Interesting.
And
it's
a fantastic photographic evidence, and you can't tell me this stuff isn't real unless you can explain these photos